FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We are Buckworth!
And here's what you need to know.
College football is here, and we start looking at the top 25. Number 2, Oklahoma, taking on Tulane. The Sooners have a 40-22 lead in the fourth quarter, but Spencer Rattler, 25 of 31, 255. He's thrown for a touchdown, but he's thrown 2 interceptions, including one just a few moments ago to the Green Wave. Meanwhile, they are playing 11:29 to play in the fourth quarter. Penn State and Wisconsin are tied at 10. Number 11, Oregon, hosting Fresno State.
Here's Brown. Die to his right. Give it to Die. Up the middle, walks it in. He equals his touchdown total running from last year. Travis Dye up the middle. Great blocking up the front.
Jerry Allen from Learfield IMG College. The Ducks have a 14-0 lead. 10:41 to play in the first half. I'm Ralph Irvin.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Welcome in, Husker fans. This is the Husker After Party postgame show. Coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. The Husker After Party postgame show is brought to you by Southeast Community College and Street Drive-In, Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. Now, here is your host, Connor Happer.
Good afternoon and welcome in. It is the Husker After Party post-game show here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Husker After Party post-game brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. Nebraska wins today over Fordham 52-7 to improve to 1-1 on the year. We weren't without a little bit of drama in the first half, more like the first quarter, but ultimately Nebraska pulls away, outscores Fordham 28-0 in the third and fourth quarters in the second half, and wins and covers today 52-7.
Just by the hair of their chin.
That's right. I mean, most people had it right in that range. I think I said
45
45-7 or something like that. We were like a touchdown away from that, or 45-10. So let's go through some stats first. As always, we'd love it if you guys joined us. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line. We love your thoughts on this one. We are also streaming live on our 93.7 The Ticket Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitch. You can check us out on any of those channels. It's the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream. All right, Nebraska, 633 total yards today. 304 of them pass, 329 of them rush, only 2 penalties for 10 yards. For the majority of the game is really just 1 for 5. I think they had one quick penalty late. Adrian Martinez, 17 of 23, 254 yards and a touchdown. And Marquis Stepp is your leading rusher, 18 carries for 101 yards. No touchdowns for him. Touchdowns on the ground belong to Adrian Martinez with 2, Savion Morrison with 2, Samari Toure with 1. We saw Logan Smothers. Did we even get a glimpse of Heinrich Harburg there at the end?
Actually, big story. The last play of the game, Matt Masker was the third quarterback in the game to take a snap. It's true.
Oh, no. Well, we have a third quarterback battle on our hands.
There's a third quarterback battle, but we got the second quarterback answered.
Yes, we do. It is Logan Smothers, at least it seems, for the time being. Like I said, 402-464-5685. Let's let today be today. Nebraska football, regardless of who the opponent is, needs to feel good about themselves. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there is, it's hard to hear, but there's some truth to what Scott Frost, says about this program needing momentum and stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely true. They need it. Now, you'd like to see them be able to kind of create their own breaks a little bit more and take down good teams. That's for sure. But Fordham landed in their laps this afternoon, and Nebraska, with the exception of the first quarter and maybe the early part of the second quarter, took care of business as they were supposed to today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that first half people were starting to get worried about letting a team hang around. That can get dangerous, but eventually they did what they needed to do. And the defense, who had trouble taking away, creating turnovers last year, did that today in the form of 3 interceptions, 2 by Deontay Williams, and of course JoJo Doman getting that one. So that was beautiful to see because they just haven't taken the ball away too much. Like you said, it took them maybe a minute to get there, but this was the final score that we wanted to see. This was the kind of performance that we wanted to see, to believe that Nebraska was taking the right step and gaining confidence, and it looks like they did. And then there's several guys that you can highlight that played really well today. So overall, I think you have to be pretty happy with the performance.
Quick shout out to Fordham's Ryan Greenhagen.
Oh my goodness,
who amassed 30 tackles today.
That's a season for most
30.
guys.
He had 30 tackles. He's amazing. We should get him. He should grad transfer here in the middle of the season.
Use. And he's jacked. He looks the part.
He was jacked. Yeah, that guy was huge. Shout out Ryan Greenhagen. All right. I was at the game for the first half. Got to go, down on the field and see things up close for the first time in a while. That was a really good thing to see. We'll talk about the crowd, which I certainly want to get into because it was a talking point kind of all week and what that would kind of look like. And then, of course, what Nebraska might look like going forward. But I want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685. Nebraska 52, Fordham 7 this afternoon. Let's head to the phones here. Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Chris is batting leadoff this afternoon. Hey, Chris.
Hey, boys. How we doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah, very happy.
Hey, I think you guys said it. Let's just walk away happy with the win, with the cover. But I think there's still some issues there. I think there early, it looked like we were really trying really hard to get any push on the offensive line. So that's a little scary. But like you said, let's just be happy with the win, with the cover, move on to Buffalo, and let's go get them next week.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Chris. I appreciate it. I think there is something to be said about confidence. And it felt like when Nebraska went up, I think it was either 17-7 or 24-7. It just felt like there was a weight lifted off of their shoulders. There was like this heaviness about the game because Sipple and I talked about it in the pregame. I'm not sure if you guys did either, but the pressure of today, everything is going to be under the microscope. If something goes poorly, and we saw it, Adrian Martinez puts the ball on the turf on a bad mesh with Irvin, I think, in the first quarter. It's like, oh my goodness, we're going to do this today. Like, this is really going to happen. They have to punt, I think, on their first drive, and Fordham's kind of throwing around the yard. They're feeling confident about themselves. Like, by the way, they only had like 14 guys on the sideline and looked like a high school JV team. It just felt like it was going to be that kind of day where you had your back up against the wall and like, we're going to have to, squeak out of this thing and win, 31-14 or something like that with a pull away late in the fourth quarter. But they got their feet under them a little bit. And this is something that I want to talk about on the show today. Because, there's Nebraska's offense obviously still has issues. They're not cleaned up because they wrecked Fordham today. But I said in the preseason, and I think it maybe stands even more true today, it just doesn't feel like Nebraska, for as much as we want them to be that team, it does not feel like Nebraska is honestly even capable of turning around and running over their opponent, handing it off to the running back. Now, Marquise Stepp got better and better as the game went on, and you'll see that. That's committing to the run, right? But when they really got comfortable, it was predicated on the short passing game. It was Adrian Martinez hitting some passes. He had a couple, medium ones and long ones. Samari Toure had a huge day with 8 catches for 133 yards this afternoon. He's kind of the real deal. Austin Allen had a couple nice middle of the field catches. Omar Manning had 54 yards today. Chancellor Brewington caught a touchdown for Nebraska. You even saw some Xavier Betts today. But I continue to think that this offense needs to, this is where it starts. It starts with those receivers getting open, Adrian Martinez hitting them, and then everything kind of loosens up. Everything softens up. You saw Illinois last week. They were not scared of Nebraska's passing game at all. So what were they able to do? Stack things up. Like, okay, here you go. We're going to if you're going to beat us today, it's going to be because of your wide receivers. And the crazy part is Nebraska has the wide receivers, I think, to win on the perimeter. I think so. I think Teray is really good, and I want to see more Manning, and I want to see more Betts, and Oliver Martin wasn't even available today because of an injury. But if you get that thing started, you saw tempo today. I mean, you just saw a lot of things that made this offense look like what it was in 2018, to be honest with you. And I know that there was a lot of conversation about being different and looking more like Iowa or Wisconsin and getting downhill. I mean, while I would love that, and I think Nebraska should at least try to commit to that, it doesn't feel like it's headed that way. It doesn't. And it feels like they're going to always be or try to be what they wanted to be initially when they got here. And that can work too. I'm curious as to what length it can work to. But they look comfortable today for the first time in a while. I mean, would you agree with that at least? I know it's Fordham, but they look comfortable.
Yeah, they did look comfortable, and that was to be expected. I mean, when you talk about kind of starting from the outside and go within, with those wide receivers, you saw space today. I mean, these guys could create separation today. Against Illinois, they couldn't, and we don't know if Illinois is probably not the greatest defense Nebraska is going to see. It's going to be a tough year as far as that goes. A lot of good defensive backfields in the Big Ten. So, I don't know. It's hard to again. We said this going into the game. It's going to be hard to take too much from it, except for the guys needed reps in both in the running game and the passing game. And that's what I was excited to see, because I was worried that they were going to try to do the grind it out type of thing and not pass the ball too much. They ended up throwing the ball for 30 times today. That's what I wanted to see, because the passing offense, the pass protection, they all need work.
Like, I just think, they tried it again, and they played Fordham.
Right.
And they couldn't get it started. They couldn't do it.
Their bigger bodies eventually wore on Fordham, but to begin the game, you just couldn't ground and pound and get first downs.
If they were going to do it, today would have been the day, and they just couldn't.
Well, and it's one thing to say you want, everybody wants that. You want to have that identity. You want you think that it should just be given to Nebraska because it's Midwest Big Ten football. But I got a surprise for you. Wisconsin, Iowa, they're routinely putting in all Big Ten NFL draft picks from that offensive line. Minnesota has one of the biggest offensive lines in the nation. Of course, Illinois just getting going under Brett Bielema, but you can't just snap your fingers and expect it to happen. That offensive line needs to be at a certain level. And despite all the parading them in the offseason like we do every year and saying the recruiting's been good, I don't think they're there. I don't think they're a line that can just without any help get that push.
The left side, I mean, Corcoran is young. He's making his his second start today. I think Banks started last week, so his second start ever today. His first one was against Rutgers last year.
Yeah.
And then today against Fordham. He played last week against Illinois. I mean, he's struggled in his two most recent games. And Piper, pretty rough all year. And they don't, the interior of the defense, the interior of the offensive line is not often a place where you can generate too much, because you're usually have a numbers advantage there with your center. I mean, that's why your center is always climbing up to the second level to try and grab a running back. But Nebraska's letting a lot through on the left side of their offensive line. Yeah. So, and then at times it just becomes, all right, Adrian, you got to go make a play. And when stuff breaks down, that's kind of what their identity is. That's always what they're going to be. But they got to clean that thing up. It's going to be real rough.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be an obstacle. I mean, I still think this offense. Again, it's great to see the total offensive numbers, but against Fordham, that's one thing. Against Oklahoma, we'll see how it goes. Against Buffalo, I'm kind of interested to see how that goes next week. But
yeah, me too.
But
that's a step up from today.
Yeah, sure. That'll be kind of give you more of an idea of if they're taking that next step. But we all wanted to see Adrian Martinez get more help around him, and I don't know if you felt like there was too much of that in game one. Oliver Martin didn't play today, but he was kind of the one guy that stuck out. Today you saw it with Samori Toure. You saw it with Austin Allen when they went to him. Marquise Stepp looks like maybe he'll be starting next week. Maybe took Gabe Irvin's job. Certainly got a lot more carries than Irvin did.
Can we get a little more Alante Brown after the dance move that he pulled off on the sideline there?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not holding my breath, but maybe.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I felt this way, early. I guess it was the Northwestern game last year for Nebraska. We saw that was the big game for Marcus Fleming. He had 5 catches, I think, for 75 yards. I was like, I'm sorry, you can't hide these guys anymore. They're good. So the pressure on the coaching staff is going to get even louder and louder because these guys can play. And something apparently is not connecting in practice where they don't feel comfortable enough to trust him on the field. That's Betts, that's Manning to a certain extent. And that's Alante Brown, I think, as well. But when they get shots in games, it usually is a pretty good picture. And that's where it's like, all right, what are we missing here?
Yeah.
What are we missing?
Yeah, it's just going to be a wait and see game with that. Hopefully, I mean, some of them got more opportunities today. Maybe that'll lead to more opportunities down the line. I'm interested to see how much they keep this, and they did this in week 1. Now here in week 2. I'm just going to go forward with that and not throw out week 0 and week 1. Week 1 and week 2, game 1 and game 2.
Game 1 and game 2. Yeah, that's better.
Samori Toure, mixing him up in the running game and kind of just having him be the guy that's, pre-snap motion and stuff, throwing the defense off.
I told people this. He's the new Wandale.
He is. He looks like it.
I think a lot of people saw the highlight tape when he came over from Montana and he was catching a lot of deep balls. And he still has that piece to his game. But he's a shifty, short area, make one guy miss type of guy. And to get him going out of the backfield is important for them, I think.
Yeah, and those option runs were pretty fun. But of all the guys talk about getting separation and running open, you can see why he's an FCS All-American because against this FCS opponent
Nobody
here.
knows FCS football like Samori
right.
Toure.
But, I mean, he was just open all day. I mean, regardless of whether he's thrown to, sometimes I think a deep ball to Manning one time, Toure was even more open. So it's just interesting to see him step up. We kind of expected him to be the leader coming in. The first game didn't have a great breakout game. Again, Oliver Martin kind of did. You wonder when Oliver Martin gets back in the mix, where it's going to go from there. It sounded
like, just reading the quote from Frost, and we'll have it momentarily, it sounded like it was more of a precautionary deal this week.
That's good news.
You're playing Fordham.
Yeah. So they didn't necessarily need him probably to win this game or to cover even. So
good teams win, great teams cover.
That's right. And then it was close. I know a lot of people maybe started checking out, leaving the stadium.
We got a 4th down conversion. we all owe Jock Yan a part of our winning.
And that's huge. We finally got to see Jock Yan at the debut.
It was amazing.
And he was just running through folks.
402 Nick loves it. 402-464-5685. Let's head back to the Honda of Lincoln Hotline. We got Paul on the line. Hey, Paul.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. I guess just being at the game, I don't want to be the negative Nate here, but that second half definitely looked better. But man, I'll play that first half.
Scary.
I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I don't feel any better than I did last week, and quite frankly, I probably feel a little more nervous now because the difference being at the game, the difference between our guys and their guys was just to me unreal. And then the fact that we still can't get a push. I don't know what's going on with our offensive line. And I don't know, Martinez still looked like Martinez to me, but yeah. I was just honestly glad we got to see Logan Smothers for a little bit because I was worried Frost was just going to keep Martinez in there. And I don't know about what you guys think about that offensive line and then the defensive line. What happened today? Where were they?
Yeah. Paul, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Once again, 402-464-5685. I'm going to reiterate this. And you guys, if you were at the game today, tell me what you thought and tell me if you agree with this, because there's just a certain weight, and it always, Nebraska football players, coaches will always have to carry this with them because of the importance that it has in the state. But when they lose and when they don't look good and when the pressure starts to mount, like, you carry that around with you all the time. And when Nebraska came out of the locker room today and when they were getting ready for the game and in the first probably 15 minutes of that game, I felt that weight. I think we all felt that weight. You felt that weight if you were in the stadium. I think the players did as well. And then once they loosened up a little bit, somebody, maybe Adrian makes a play, bails them out a couple times. I don't know when the exact moment was. I think it was when it got to 24-7. You just started to, and it was just,
I'll tell you,
let's take a deep breath because we're not going to be the national embarrassment, not today. And that's, and that's a step forward from what it was last week. I know that sounds like sarcastic, but it's good to have a day like this that is generally stress-free. Generally, it wasn't completely stress-free. I'm with you there, Paul. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Nebraska needs to go back to the drawing board on, and I'm not trying to say it's all related to this thing because that takes the responsibility off of coaches and schemes and stuff like that too. There's still like this X's and O's analytical piece that needs to work, but mentally, it just felt like. Okay, not today.
Yeah.
And that's something that Nebraska can't have, hasn't been able to say for itself in a while.
Well, if you can say a 52-7 game swung, I'll tell you where the 52-7 game swung.
Yeah, okay, tell me where.
Well, I think, what was it? Early second quarter, midway second quarter, it was 10-7. They had a field goal opportunity to tie it, and that would be a bit embarrassing. Midway through, yeah. I don't know if it was Newsom or Dismuke. I heard different things being at the game.
Dismuke,
I couldn't tell.
I think, yeah.
But yeah, went in there, got the block, and then from there it just seemed like Nebraska went down and scored and took advantage of that opportunity and started to put some space between them and Fordham. So it wasn't clean. If you wanted a perfect game, I mean, they had 2 penalties, the fumbles here and there, still frustrating. I get that. Like he said, I mean, you can talk about line play offensively. Certainly the defensive line probably didn't get as much.
They turned the ball over just once today.
Nebraska. Yeah.
Fumbles
or twice.
Oh, twice.
There was Cam Taylor-Britt and then Logan Smothers. Yeah.
Smothers, let's not spin. Let's put the B button away.
Yeah. And Cam Taylor-Britt, you wonder, they replaced him after that punt return. He's such a dynamic player, and I think for the future, when the offense is going to be held down in a few games, you just need him to get touches, but not at that expense, not the expense of, a safety the first week and a fumble the next one. Mm-hmm. You just can't keep that pace up or he's not going to be able to get those touches. So we'll see how that goes. But, ultimately, I'll just say this, you look around college football, Oklahoma's up 12 right now in Tulane in the fourth quarter. There's a lot of games. We saw like teams struggling in week 1. There's a lot of games. It's not as clean and easy as it sounds. It should just be, an easy breezy 52-7 win that we all wanted it to. That's where it finished. I know, but usually even in those blowout games, it starts 0-0. You can't be up 28-0 as soon as the game starts and be all happy about it and feel comfortable the whole game. So, and the other thing is, this is not the greatest of Nebraska Cornhuskers team. This isn't like back in the heyday where you would go up 28-0 and start to put your backups in. This is a team that needs work. And, you
want them to feel, comfortable and play like there's not life or death on their watches.
Yeah.
And that's the way it felt when they kind of got out of that mode, I think.
Oh yeah. Because can you imagine if that game would have stuck around?
Oh, yeah. If they go into the locker room at 10-10 or 17-10, it's like, oh, we got to get a stop coming out of the break here.
Everybody, national media starts to pile on the Huskers halftime scores. Yeah.
Well, actually, at the start of the third quarter, they were up 24-7 at half. Yeah. They get the defensive stop. They got all the momentum in the world. It's like, all right, we really feel good about ourselves. And that's when Cam Taylor-Britt screwed up the punt.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no,
here we go.
Just no. I thought we were done. But you were able to kind of survive off of that. So Nebraska's, I thought it kind of went according to plan today, with the exception of, getting downhill and running. We talked about that. We'll continue to talk about it during the show today. And I want to hear from you guys, 402-464-5685. But they got a couple turnovers on defense. They're able to really press them. And then one turnover with Nebraska's offense, the way it's supposed to be humming, leads to more because those teams are in holes, and Nebraska can speak to that position, often. The game script's not on your side. then you're in trouble. And it was mostly on Nebraska's side today. All right. Like I said, 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline and the Sartor Hamann text line. The Husker After Party postgame show brought to you by Southeast Community College and Street Drive-In. We are also streaming, hello everybody, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube at 93.7 The Ticket. Check us out there on the Sartor Hamann video stream. We'll come back in a couple minutes. We'll hear from Scott Frost on the other side next.
At Beatrice Bakery, it's not just our headline fruitcakes that are worth shouting about. Every single cake that leaves our factory is handmade and packed with passion. There's the most important cake of the day in our breakfast breads, the classic coffee cake, the cure cake, and you can even choose kosher and no added sugar alternatives. Visit them in Beatrice at 201 South 5th Street or find them all right now at beatricebakery.com. They'll deliver anywhere. Beatrice Bakery, welcome to our world of yum.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Tired of interrupted printing or money-wasting long-term copier contract? Join Cartridge World's no-cost printer program. You get a free brand printer, free service maintenance and repair, free delivery. All this for just buying our high-quality, affordable printer cartridges. Simple agreements and local-friendly service, as it has been for more than 25 years. Cartridge World. Contact us today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 Oak Street.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
We're in this together, and we will get through this together. The vaccines are tested effective and needed.
Welcome to the clinic with Charm.
Get your COVID-19 vaccine so we can do this. And this. And this.
We are now boarding flight.
Together again, because we got through it together. This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Husker After Party postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, thought he made a couple little boo-boos early, but he also makes
Hold on, you made a couple boo-boos? Hold on. I did not expect, Nick, you didn't tell me that was coming. You had to prepare me for that. Oh, did Adrian make a boo-boo? All right, I'm sorry. All right, you're trying.
Got our words of the week.
Yeah, thought he made a couple little boo-boos early, but he also makes fantastic plays. We put a lot on that kid.
Tell me you're a father of less than 4-year-olds without telling me you're a father of less than 4-year-olds. Sorry, I keep going.
Shoulders with the type of offense we're running. Every single play, he's got it in his hands. He's making decisions. He's running it. He's throwing it. He's never going to be perfect. Nobody should expect him to. We just want to eliminate the bad plays. We put a ball on the ground early on a naked, on a bootleg, where the running back doesn't have an option of taking the ball.
Wow.
So those little things can't happen, but he's always going to be there to make plays, and he's been playing at a high level all fall, so I expect that to continue.
Jeez. I just assumed it was a bad rub.
I don't know. Like, that one's not as bad as last week, but sometimes I wonder why Frost tells us something. Like that one, maybe just keep that to yourself, because that doesn't do anybody any favors to tell us that was just an awful fumble.
How could the ball possibly end up on the ground if it was a keep the whole time on a naked boot?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It makes me feel a lot worse about the play.
He made a boo-boo.
A little boo-boo.
That was a big boo-boo.
Why did he say that too? I'm with you. That's a weird, like, does he go in the locker room and say that? I can expect that from Mike Riley, but not Scott Frost.
Yeah, thought he made a couple little boo-boos early.
Little boo-boos.
It comes to the sideline. That's just one little boo-boo. It's okay, Adrian.
All right, you got 2 more until you're in timeout.
Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. We got Brian on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Hi, Brian. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, try not to make any boo-boos on my feedback here.
Please don't.
But I mean, overall, good game. Started slow, a little concerning, but then we kind of picked things up where it needed to be. It was good to see Martinez have a good, steady game. Confidence is what we need, obviously, at this point in time, and I think hopefully we gain some of this there. It was good to get the run game going, and I was really impressed with Step. I think he's probably going to be the one who's going to have to lead us through the year. Being a bigger back into the Big Ten, he's got some experience. Once we get into some tougher games, we're probably gonna have to lean on him. But it was good to see a good win. This is the way the game should have went, which it did. But positive, and hopefully we can build off this to the next couple weeks here.
Yeah, no doubt, Brian. Thanks for the call. There's something to be said for just doing what you're supposed to do. There was a moment today where I thought, I don't know if they're going to do what they're supposed to do. Let's go to Step next. I'm glad Brian mentioned that. I thought last week, Bach, we talked about this on the postgame show. I thought Step was just a hair better than Irvin last week, and it kind of puzzled me why I guess when you throw in the whole game script thing and they weren't really able to kind of do it the way they wanted to do it last week, which, whatever. But that probably plays into why we saw a little bit less of Step a week ago. It seemed to me that we saw a little bit of Irvin, but it seemed to me like Step was the guy. And he looked the part today. He runs hard. He reminds me of a bigger, I guess, taller Dedrick Mills, and I thought Nebraska misutilized him over the last couple of years, and maybe you can kind of get your, you can
make up for
make up for it a little bit here with Step. I thought he was pretty good today, obviously.
I thought he was solid. Yeah, he got his 100 yards. And got the opportunity. Maybe that naked bootleg fumble, I think Irvin was part of that. Maybe that was part of the decision, because Irvin only got 6 carries. This was a game where everybody got carries. So for your potential starter to only get 6 carries is a bit intriguing to me. But only 2.8 yards per carry on those. And those were most of them were early in the game. And, as we were talking about, the offensive line wasn't getting very much of a push.
People who got carries: Marquise Step, 18. Let's order it in that order. Sevion Morrison, 9. Adrian Martinez, 8. Marvin Scott, 6. Gabe Irvin, 6. Ramir Johnson, 5. Jaquez Yant, 5. Samari Toure, 3. Logan Smothers, 4. Yeah. Cooper Jewett, 1.
Did he get that last one?
He did. Cooper Jewett, 1 carry, 2 yards.
Now we know who the 6th-string running back is.
Ryan Held. Ryan Held was down there before the game. He's like, "We're going to run the ball today."
That's right.
And then I went upstairs and I was like, "It doesn't feel like you are." first quarter, and then they did.
Yeah, for as much as and again, I think everybody's understands that we're talking kind of about early on. They didn't get the push. Eventually, though, for a team to run for 330 yards, I suppose, and 6 touchdowns, you can't complain too much about the running game. Again, I know it's Fordham, but that's what you wanted to see today with those type of gaudy numbers, and that's what they got.
Yeah, like if your expectation was on Friday or on Wednesday, whatever it was, like I just want to see us play a clean game. I just want to, see them beat a team, manhandle a team that you're supposed to manhandle. Like mission accomplished on both accounts, right? Mm-hmm. There's always going to be a thing in the game that you could pick out and be like, I'm not sure if that's projectable, or I'm not sure if, that really plays against another team, or I, just don't like that picture altogether. Like that was a bad mistake. And there was a couple boo-boos today.
A little boo-boos.
But I think generally you took care of what you set out to take care of. And I don't know that it helps you aside from just feeling good about it, confidence-wise.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to want to know what the feel is for Buffalo, because I think there is at least a rejuvenated feeling. I mean, so for some fans, I just can't imagine with the expectations for Nebraska coming into the year, which was maybe make a bowl game, like try to make that bowl game, that you let that Illinois hangover last even through a 52-7 win over Fordham. If I'm a Nebraska fan, I'm back on board. I'm ready to roll. I'm not necessarily thinking this team's going to win the West.
Right.
There's a long way to go there. I might even be skeptical that they're going to make a bowl game, but I'm at least interested. I'm back, and they have the confidence. So let's see what they can do against Buffalo, because again, that's no easy game. Buffalo looked pretty good. They played their game Friday night. They looked or Thursday night, and they looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's like you're just after that Illinois game, you were like stumbling and you're trying to kind of catch your balance. And this game today, you maybe you didn't fully catch your balance, but you're like close.
Yeah,
you stabilized yourself.
At least you want to see how are guys, because part of the problem is, if you're trying to get excited after Illinois, maybe you can somewhat be excited about Adrian Martinez's 75-yard run, but that's about it. I mean, maybe Philarius Payton had a good game in week 1, Oliver Martin, but there aren't that many guys. This week you can say, I want to see how Samari Toure responds after this game. I want to see Marquise Stepp, Deontay Williams.
Well, Adrian after his best game.
Austin Allen, they actually use. So there's a lot of guys that had a good game that probably just won't disappear against Buffalo, all of them. So let's see how they do, how they can respond.
I want to play a running back clip here from Frost in a second, but let me alert you to something that's going on in college football. 2:18 left. Oklahoma 40, Tulane 35.
Oh my goodness, who saw that coming?
Willie Fritz saw it coming, baby.
And they got the ball. They have the ball.
No, I think they just scored.
Oh, they just scored.
So they might have been behind on that one, but. So 2:18 left. Remember that game was supposed to originally be in Louisiana, but the hurricane came through. So it's in Norman, but Oklahoma's like playing as the road team, which I don't even really know what that means. 40-35 is your score for Nebraska's opponent in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's maybe Nebraska can keep it closer than we think. Maybe Oklahoma's not too good.
Well, let's just do the math today, guys. Nebraska wins 52-7. Oklahoma wins maybe? Tell me Nebraska can't go down there and win.
They scored 3 points in the second half.
Yikes.
Wow. Spencer Rattler, everybody's Heisman favorite, coming in 2 interceptions.
He can go. He's a little interception-y.
He is. Especially early in the season. Last, down the
Nick,
stretch.
That's right. Interception-y.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Adrian's not interception-y, but guess who didn't throw an interception today? Adrian.
Yeah, that's right.
Guess who did? Spencer Rattler.
Twice.
2 times. Guess who also didn't? Logan Smothers.
Yeah. They're both better than Sam Howell and Spencer Rattler
That's
at
right.
this point.
Also, Penn State 16, Wisconsin 10 in the third quarter. And then more significant games starting up here in just a little bit. By the way, that was a quick game this afternoon. I was planning on going on air at 3. We went on air at 2. So I'm not complaining, but
especially the second half. Those blowout games usually kind of get into that area, especially the fourth quarter. Everybody just wants to get off the field.
Here's Scott Frost on which running backs impressed him the most.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to watch the tape. I thought they all did good things. Thought we ran hard. Still want to get the run game established a little earlier and a little better. We need our base run plays to get us 5 or 6 when they're getting us 2 and get us 11 when they're getting us 6. And I think that's a team effort. It's up front. It's backs. It's good decisions. It's all those things. And when you can establish run, everything else works off of it. And we did that okay today, but can still get better.
Well, that's certainly encouraging. I mean, you still have to do it, but that's an encouraging thing to hear from Frost. So that begs the question: Nebraska's offensive line, specifically the left side of it, and really the interior altogether, has been pretty rough. I mean, maybe the only bright spot being Bryce Benhart so far. I think he's been at least okay. But he's with 4 other guys, so that's what you get. I mean, is there a personnel move that they can make? Is there going to be something else tried this week? I don't know. That second offensive line we saw some Teddy Prohaska. We saw some Trent Hickson, some Nori Newelli. Can't remember who the other guys were.
Brent Banks is always
Brent Banks is there, but I don't think he was a whole lot better than Corcoran last week. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not a personnel thing. Maybe it's just playing assignment sound, but something's got to get better.
Well, let's say this. This isn't the first time that the offensive line under Frost hasn't looked good coming out of the gates. And usually by the end of the season, it does look a little bit better. I mean, by the end of last year, they finally ran all over Rutgers, which was kind of maybe provided the hope that they would kind of have that identity going into this season. But, you think about that Southern Alabama game in 2019. I mean, that was a mess. I mean, you would have thought at that point that they should have ran all over them, and it took them a while to get going. And then you also remember that Dedrick Mills finally did get going, like the last 5 games there, really got it going. So, sometimes it might just take playing together and building confidence and continuity among each other.
It's a rhythm offense, and they need, especially they're not, I mean, they say they want to get downhill, but it's an offensive line that scheme wise is not like, here's my guy, I'm just gonna bowl the dude over. That's not how they play. It's more of like assignment stuff, and you got to know where to be, and your feet got to be in the right place. It's it's oversimplification, but it's a finesse offensive line. It's a finesse scheme. So they, have to be ready to do that unless they totally switch kind of what they are, which I'm not sure is completely in the cards. All right, back to the phones. We got Alex on the line. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. As I'm calling you right now, Tulane just recovered the onside kick.
Whoa. Onside kick, what? So what?
Tulane's got the ball.
Yeah, 40-35. Tulane has the ball on 4th down. He's rolling out, running, tripped up, running. He might get the first down.
Hey, we can do play-by-play.
No, keep going. Well, if the FCC calls, we'll just put it on you.
Tulane recovered the onside kick. They just ran a play on 4th down, and he was about an inch short of the 4th down marker. So now Oklahoma has the ball with 1:55 left. But Tulane still has 2 timeouts.
Willie Fritz, man. All right, so how do you feel about the Oklahoma game now?
I feel pretty good.
Yes! We're going to win!
Losing to Illinois, and we beat Oklahoma, I'd probably cash app every single person in the office at this point. I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we saw from Alante Brown today that, he has great maneuverability. He had that play in the end zone where if that second guy didn't get there, he probably would have had a touchdown catch.
Yeah.
Why aren't Xavier Betts or Alante Brown getting as much playing time as everybody else? The Omar Manning, because Omar Manning just showed up for the first time this season today too.
Right. It's Alex, thanks for the call. Appreciate the update as well. It's a great mystery to me. They say it's just because of, they generally categorize it as practice habits.
Yeah, inconsistency at practice.
Which I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you could see it, and today was really useful for me because we got to see a couple practices in fall camp, but you got to see, I got to go down to the field before the game and see Nebraska's athletes and how they look against another team and how they look on a real life college football field with all the depth perception and all the stuff. You get to really eyeball test it. And Xavier Betts and Omar Manning and, throw Jaquez Yant into that category too, although he's a little bit different. Those dudes look the part, legitimately look the part. And the way Betts moves is just so fluid and smooth. And Manning against Fordham is totally, completely unfair. Like, it doesn't, that shouldn't actually be allowed. But, you know, it's a wonder to me why those guys aren't in the game. And I know they want more consistency at practice and stuff like that. But at some point, they're the guys on your roster, and there's not very many of them. Nebraska, I mean, what do we talk about all the time? Nebraska just doesn't have these all Big Ten caliber players, guys who can win them one-on-ones, especially on the perimeter. I mean, they only consistently have one on the field, and he's also the guy who kills you a lot, and his name is Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
He's, like it or not, he's been your biggest difference maker over the past 3 seasons, sans Maurice Washington, J.D. Spielman, and Divine Azigbo.
Maybe Wandale
Robinson. Sure. And I think Betts and Manning can win those battles. So if it's about them not knowing the playbook or about practice habits, you have to find a way to get them engaged. You have to coach them and teach them the right way, love them the right way, whatever it is. Or if it's about not knowing the playbook, you better find some places where they can get involved.
Yeah, just spot play them.
Yeah.
Just tell them, I mean, if they can't figure it out.
They had the whole Betts end around thing last year, or the Betts jet sweep thing that it was just one play and he scored against Penn State. You can find ways to do it. It's back to the whole, you know, quarterback situation. Let's talk about Logan Smothers from today. It all matches into the same deal. I don't think Logan looks particularly polished as a quarterback, especially in the pass game. In fact, I think he, you know, reminds me a little bit of Luke McCaffrey in that. Maybe a little bit more polished as the thrower, but you find ways to make his skill set work for you. It's a different offense. It changes other guys' responsibilities, but if they're your guys, if they're your players and they can win at what they do well, then you have to go there. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing goes for those wide receivers.
Well, and it's not even like necessarily have to be like if they're in the game, they're getting the ball. You know, you can still have them out there running decoy routes. If they don't know the route that they're running to begin with, then I guess it won't matter too much if they're running decoy routes. But I don't think they do that too often. I think they're going to get open. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you have your set plays. But my point is, it doesn't even have to be a tell that they're in there, and even if they don't know the whole playbook,
they're attracting attention.
Yeah, and just it just seems like you should have enough time to realize that. And maybe some coaches don't want to maybe coddle certain players and give them, you know, certain opportunities that they want other guys. But at Nebraska, where you have limited amount of guys that you were saying that can really make a difference, even if they don't have the whole playbook understood, you just I think you got to force them in there and live with the mistakes that they'll make, because your offense isn't good enough to overcome the lack of talent that you have running it perfectly as it would be.
Well, Buck, that's the point here. It's not perfect anyway. They're already screwing up. They're already making mistakes with the lesser athletes on the field.
Yeah.
So why not, you know, if it's a penalty every now and then, if it's a miscommunication with the quarterback and the wide receiver, okay, but then you're going to also hit a 45-yard pass every once in a while. And Nebraska hasn't had that shot in their bag in a long time. So I don't know. Samari Toure apparently has it all put together, which is good for them. And I don't know about his ability to win one-on-one on the edge, but they get him creatively involved.
Yeah.
They got Wandale creatively involved. And it's just, you know, it doesn't work for other guys. And that's what
it'll continue to be a mystery. I wish we could give you a good answer. Yeah. But all we can say is repeat what they say, which is practice habits need to get better, or practice consistency. And so I guess that's the answer you have to go with.
All right, we're here with you for about another 45 minutes before we send you over to DP out at Tanner's. We'll take a quick break here, come back. More of the Husker After Party postgame show brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. Up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 Oak Street.
At Beatrice Bakery, it's not just our headline fruitcakes that are worth shouting about. Every single cake that leaves our factory is handmade and packed with passion. There's the most important cake of the day in our breakfast breads, the classic coffee cake, liqueur cake, and you can even choose kosher and no added sugar alternatives. Visit them in Beatrice at 201 South 5th Street or find them all right now at BeatriceBakery.com. They'll deliver anywhere. Beatrice Bakery, welcome to our world of yum. You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridge World. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridge World is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers and all the required service just for buying Cartridge World ink and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket, sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health. Back to the Husker After Party postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I don't know what happened to our computer there, but yeah, you know, everybody deserves a break every once in a while. Saturday, it's been a long week for the computer too.
Yeah. We got to give him a break here now.
Bach, Big Ten Bach, as I'm going to now call you. You love the Big Ten. Bach is fully gone into being Big Ten Bach at this point.
Oh, I love the Big Ten.
He expressed his disappointment during the break when he learned that the Big Ten West has started 0-3 against the Big Ten East.
Yeah.
With Minnesota's loss, Nebraska's, I guess, doesn't count because that was against the West. Minnesota's loss, Northwestern's loss, and today Wisconsin loses to Penn State 16-10. But there is good news, depending on what you think is good news. Iowa is up 14-0 quickly on Indiana.
That's right. Big Ten West is not going to get shut out in week 1.
I think Indiana's due for a regression. I've been saying that. I just I think they are. I think they've really maxed out, and credit to the coaching staff. They've maxed out over the last 2 years, and that's what you want out of your teams. But I think they're closer to like a 6, 7, 8 win range rather than a 9.
Yeah, you wonder if, and they're kind of doing the thing the Nebraska basketball tournament team, remember, kind of had to go through where the offseason, it's it's easy and fun to be the up and coming team that jumps in the top 25, and in the offseason you hear all about yourself. And are you going to work as hard and push as hard? And obviously, it's just,
Tom Allen's a great coach. Yeah. He's one of the great coaches in the country.
They're less than 3 minutes into the season, so we probably shouldn't bury them. But, it's going to be difficult for them to repeat that sort of success.
Elsewhere, Oklahoma did finish off Tulane 40-35, so that's notable. These are, let's call these Nebraska adjacent situation. We're going to get back to Nebraska here in the next couple of minutes, but I wanted to roll through a couple of different things. So we went through the Big Ten. Those things are happening. Wisconsin goes down. Iowa's already up 14-0 on Indiana. And then you saw the Minnesota-Ohio State thing happen. Northwestern loses last night to Michigan State. Oklahoma, who Nebraska plays in 2 weeks, went 40-35 today over Tulane. It was not easy for them. Rice.
I want to hear a Rice update.
Why is Rice important? Well, they have Luke McCaffrey. Is Luke playing? I thought I saw a screenshot of Luke in the college football game, but there's no stats. There's no live stats for it. So
who are they playing? They playing Arkansas.
They're playing Arkansas.
That's a real game. Luke could be a star today.
Yeah, Woo Pig. I got to go. I snuck inside their stadium when I was in Fayetteville for the baseball regional.
Did you? How was it?
It's nice and it's what's the right term
condensed?
For it? It's homey, it's comfortable.
Razorback Stadium.
Small, but intimate. That's the word that I'm looking for.
It said they can put 80,000 in there.
Really?
Pretty big stadium.
Oh, I don't see it.
That's capacity.
Yeah, it's over capacity. So we'll keep an eye on the Rice Owls. Also today, Kentucky. Why is Kentucky important, Happer? Well, they have a guy named Wan'Dale Robinson.
I've heard of that guy.
Wan'Dale Robinson today had 5 catches, 125 yards.
Oh, that's pretty good.
A long of 62.
Whoa.
And 2 touchdowns.
I think that guy was pretty good. I think Nebraska built their whole offense around him, it seemed like last year a few times. I remember that week because I was subbing in for.
What's your reaction? Is it just like, okay.
I had a lot of people tell me about how J.D. Spielman didn't translate his success. I thought Wan'Dale was going to, and looks like so far he has.
Oh, but they are playing UL Monroe, to be fair.
That's true.
But the one highlight that I saw, he was very open.
I think 62 yards is longer than anything we saw the day from Nebraska.
And by the way, he's catching passes from Will Levis.
Oh, yeah.
Who was Penn State's backup last year when they came to Lincoln. And remember, Clifford got pulled because he was horrendous.
Yeah.
/ maybe hurt. I think it was mostly that he was terrible. Levis came in. I was like, oh, this guy's okay. Kind of led the comeback a little bit. So all these guys are all around the country, man. The transfer portal has gone crazy.
It is crazy. And you wonder how much more of that Nebraska is going to break into. Obviously, we saw a few transfers today lead the team in rushing and receiving. So Nebraska's part of it.
Transfers are back.
That's right.
That's right, Bach. Good point to remember. It doesn't just transfers just don't go away from here. Not only go away from here, they also come to
We've added
here.
some.
It's very important. Many of Nebraska's important players are transfers. Marquise Stepp, Samari Toure, Chris Kolarovic, Travis Vokalek, who was not in pads today, but is still, can confirm, extremely large.
You saw him?
Yeah, large human being, still big. Is there anybody? Omar Manning? I mean,
Omar
not
Manning,
transfer portal guy, junior college guy.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of counts as well. According to
Chancellor Brewington?
Chancellor Brewington? Sir Chancellor Brewington.
He got a touchdown today, right?
He sure did.
Yeah.
As a tight end, which is something.
Which he's playing because Vokalek's out, right?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. He went there because they were thin, I suppose. People texting in, according to what they have, Luke is, we'll call them well-embedded moles. Luke is 1 for 3 for 33 yards. But he's playing right now. You're watching Luke?
Oh, man.
It's Luke time. Also, Alabama Death Machine still rocking and rolling against Miami. They're out to a 7-0 lead, and they are driving down the field.
That Oregon-Fresno State game's closer than maybe what people had thought there for a second. It's 21-13 start the second half.
How about that? All right.
I still think Tim DeRuyter's the coach. I'll always say that.
I leave today. Who is the coach?
I don't know. I'll look it up. Somebody I don't know.
This has been a good day for me so far. I feel like Nebraska won. Yeah, we saw some bad things, but we saw some good things as well. Confidence, momentum, right? This is different. This is a very different feeling. We haven't had this feeling in a very long time. It's so hard. It was so difficult to really dive into this sport in 2020 because you were just missing such a major part of it with the fans at stadiums and the noises, the sounds and the smells of game day and stuff like that. And you almost forget what it feels like to walk away from a Nebraska football game and you feel good about it. And then you watch the other games on TV and you're like, that's interesting. Some of these teams are bad too.
Yeah.
They have problems.
It's true.
This is amazing.
You do forget that, like they're most teams do, especially out of the gate in week 1 or just through the first 3 weeks. You know, you'll be convinced the whole conference is bad here in 3 weeks because some conference is going to struggle.
That's right,
mightily and get upset left and right. It's hard. It's hard to play a full 4-quarter football game and feel good about it. And that just doesn't happen too often for any fan base. Obviously, Nebraska, again, all these things. Maybe you're still not convinced. Yeah, Nebraska's probably not that great.
Let us have the one day.
But today was a great day because Memorial Stadium was full. I took my wife to her first game.
All right.
It was awesome.
What'd you think?
She was excited. She doesn't quite know football quite yet, but she's learning.
Fine.
Got a picture with Little Red and Herbie
but
down there.
It's a universal language. Walk into a stadium full of people and you just get to experience for the first time. It's a sight to behold. I was reminded of this today because there was a whole bunch of Fordham people there. And in fact, there was a Fordham booster in the press box. I think a booster who's wearing a seersucker suit and a ram hat.
Oh, cool!
With antlers.
He was in the press box.
Yes,
that's awesome.
He was a ram. He was a human ram. And I'm just looking at this group of people. I'm like, you know what? We take this for granted. This is probably the coolest day ever. For them. Like, this is probably the best thing that's ever happened.
Those guys don't play in front of 80,000 fans.
Absolutely
ever.
not. We take it for granted.
Yeah.
And it was good to be back out there today. So we got about 20-25 minutes left here, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts at 402-464-5685 as Nebraska takes down Fordham today. Almighty Fordham. Try again next time, Fordham. 52-7. But we want your thoughts. 402-464-5685. More up next on the Husker After Party Postgame Show.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 O Street.
At Beatrice Bakery, it's not just our headline fruitcakes that are worth shouting about. Every single cake that leaves our factory is handmade and packed with passion. There's the most important cake of the day in our breakfast breads, the classic coffee cake, liqueur cake, and you can even choose kosher and no added sugar alternatives. Visit them in Beatrice at 201 South 5th Street or find them all right now at BeatriceBakery.com. They'll deliver anywhere. Beatrice Bakery, welcome to our world of yum.
We take our college football Saturdays so seriously at 93.7 The Ticket that one postgame show simply isn't enough. Join Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and DP for The Ticket postgame. 90 minutes following each Nebraska game at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. They'll break down the game from their vantage point and bring in special guests as well. With giveaways to listeners who drop by, it's The Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman and DP at Tanner's Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. Tailgating wasn't just meant for weekends. Join 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday at Chick-fil-A for Tailgate Tuesdays. Scan your app with any purchase on Tuesdays and you'll be entered to win a tailgate meal for 15 people. That's chicken nuggets, fresh fruit, and iced tea or lemonade. Winners will be contacted each Wednesday, and you can come see Tom and Bach from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the 48th and O location or at South Point each week. It's Tailgate Tuesdays all season long at Chick-fil-A in Lincoln.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education Schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Learn CPR and first aid, or choose a path in trades and industrial technology like automotive or welding, or computers and technology like social media and web development and design, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like making door signs or woodworking. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Labor Day weekend. We are thankful for all the hard workers in this country that make it great and celebrate with them all with well-deserved time off this weekend. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services on the air because they care.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Husker After Party postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker After Party postgame show brought to you by Southeast Community College. Discover your path to possible at SCC. Learn more about their programs at southeast.edu. And N Street Drive-In. This month's beer specials are from Glacial Till and Cosmic Eye. Grab those or anything else from their large variety of options at 18th and O. That's N Street Drive-In. All right, final segment for us here on the After Party before we send it out to DP at Tanner's. You can go join them on South 27th Street. Go hang out with them. They'll roll until, I don't know, 5 o'clock. Basically, as long as you guys want to.
Yeah, as long as you guys stay there. Yeah. They got some cool jerseys gives away there.
Oh, yeah. We got it all set up. And the great college football games will be on. You can watch the end of, get there right now and watch Iowa, Indiana. Alabama's on right now, and then stay for the night, watch Clemson, Georgia. Good, fun football Saturday. And guess what? It was not ruined by a Nebraska poor performance. So shout out to that as Nebraska wins 52-7 this afternoon against Fordham. All right, one of the main storylines we were looking for coming into today. What will happen after Nebraska takes the big lead? Who's next? Who's the second quarterback? I think we were all pretty sure that it was going to be Logan Smothers, and then it was. He got how many series, Bach? 4 or 5?
Yeah, something like that.
He got a pretty good chunk of playing time. 4 for 7, 50 yards. Also looked athletic, pretty quick on the ground. 4 carries for 36 yards. He was actually Nebraska's second leading rusher today.
That's kind of surprising.
Is that shocking?
Huh.
So Nebraska had guys with 36, 35, and 36, 35, 33, 31, and 30 yards on the ground. And Smothers was the one with 36.
That is surprising. Well, what did Adrian, he had the loss because of the sacks, maybe.
Adrian had 33.
Yeah. Those 2 touchdowns make it a little bit better performance.
His long run was actually the long third down conversion that they had in the first part of the game.
That was a pretty big play.
It's a really big play
at the time, yeah.
That's the old Adrian Belliot offense. Here's Scott Frost on the backup quarterback competition as it stands right now.
Yeah, can we focus on the things we need to focus on here? Matt Masker's a really good player. Harburg's going to be a really good player. Logan won the number 2 spot through his body of work, and he got the opportunity.
I don't know what the question was.
I think it was probably asked about Matt Masker.
Nick, can you help me out with context there? What was the question there?
It was, tell us about the backup quarterback competition.
That's it?
And then he was like, well, we need to focus on the little things that we did wrong in the game, basically. And they asked him how close the backup quarterback competition was.
I figured he was asked about Masker there.
Yeah, I figured why did Masker go in before Heinrich Garber?
Yeah.
Nope, that's just what he gave. He was asked what the backup quarterback competition was like.
So that's important, Scott. Adrian might go out.
Focus on the things we need to focus on here.
That's interesting.
He didn't want to talk about the backup quarterbacks.
Clearly, no, he hasn't for a while now.
So,
to be honest with you,
but Logan won the number 2 spot.
He did, and
that's what I labeled it as.
Yeah, Logan won the number. No, I saw it. I just didn't know what the context of the question was.
It was about the backup quarterback competition.
It seemed like he would.
It seemed like there was something in there.
Yeah, it seemed like there would be a question to trigger him, but.
No. Well, he was asked but right before it about like the little things and like small penalties. And he's like, we still have stuff we got to clean up. And then he was asked about the backup quarterback competition right after Logan Smothers. And he's like, all right, we need to focus on like today's game and not the backup quarterback competition, basically.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome, guys.
Here's Frost on Smothers in general.
Yeah, I thought Logan did well. That's kind of what I've seen from him. That was a tough fight. I trust the other 2 kids too. Matt got a snap there at the end. I thought Logan played really well, other than putting the ball on the deck. So he felt bad about that, but he did some really good things out there. It was good to see him get some run.
Yeah, that was a play where just in your first game action, trying to do a little bit too much, try to hit the spin cycle, and just got the ball punched out.
Yeah, I mean, in limited action, you don't want to see him fumble because again, they're probably going to use Logan Smothers or whoever their backup is, which they're saying Logan Smothers now, and we saw him today. Not because they'll have to replace Adrian, but Adrian, I mean, they just the way they run him in the last couple seasons, we've seen him miss series, if not games. So you need to get these guys, whoever it is going to be, some reps, and I think they accomplished that today. And Smothers looks solid. I don't think you feel like there's a quarterback battle brewing, or that you'd feel too confident if he was going in against Ohio State or Oklahoma or anything. But as far as spot play and maybe having to beat I don't know who's the worst at Purdue. Maybe it could happen.
Buffalo,
maybe, yeah. hopefully we don't have to see. Well, hopefully we do see a little bit of them, I guess, and some mop-up duty against Buffalo, but I don't expect it necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know. Next week is still a mystery to me.
It's going to be interesting.
It's real
kind of game prepping for Buffalo because I'm not sure what my prediction will be for that game, but I don't, at least at this point, don't expect it to be too easy.
I like them going in with confidence. I would have said that a year ago when they had that win against Penn State.
Yeah.
And then they had their crappiest game of all time against Illinois.
Yeah.
So that's something to guard against, maybe.
That's interesting is the confidence is one thing, but they haven't been able to get 3 wins in a row. They haven't been able to build off of momentum in the past. So what makes you think they can change that now? That's up to you to decide, but hopefully they can prove it. I mean, that's all there is left for the Scott Frost program to do. I mean, we talk all the talk about trying to get better here and there, but it's prove it season. They did that today at least.
Yeah, it's a week by week analysis, and we'll see where it ends up when we get toward the end here. All right, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline. Still time for you guys to get your calls in over the next, you got about 10 minutes left on this show. Let's get to some text line questions here. Mailman Dan asks, how did the crowd look, sold out or sparse? I tweeted this before the game. It was a late arriving crowd. Sounds like there was a pretty rough accident coming in from the interstate today. Maybe that had something to do with a late arriving crowd. It's a slow, sleepy 11 a.m. game anyway. We felt that out there at the pregame show this morning. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't think it was really all that much different from what I've seen before. We've seen 11 a.m. games in late October or November where Nebraska is, not putting out too great of a product, but people still show up and it looks full, but there's just that kind of elbow room.
Yeah.
When it's real full, when it's capacity, I think pregame of 2018 Akron, like this last time I can remember it really being like that. It's elbow to elbow. You're jammed in there like sardines. And then if you're on field level, you look up into the stands and it's like, I don't see anything except for red. That's all I see. It's the sea of red. So you could see the little spaces. You could see where people were spread out a little bit.
It was comfortable
in
in the stands today,
but it was full.
It was full.
It was full, and I didn't think there was anything like if they would have taken. I don't know if anybody saw what they did on the broadcast or anything like that because I was at the game for the first part of it, but. If they had the aerial shot before the game, I assume it would have looked pretty normal.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because, that was a major concern coming in the game is how would Husker Nation respond? Obviously, is the wind taken out of their sails, and there's certain fans that maybe are vocal that you hear, but it was good to see that Husker Nation is still there to support this product and not give up on the season just one weekend. And
was it energized? Probably not.
It didn't. And again, I took my wife to that one. I'm gonna want to take her to a game that kind of has a bigger feel to it, right? To get the whole experience in there. So it wasn't your every game day that you get where it was just everybody's on the edge of their seat and ready to go, but that's part of inviting Fordham in. There's just not going to be that feel for that type of game, but I was impressed with the crowd. Like you said, maybe some elbow room, but overall it looked like the sea of red, and I didn't know if I was going to see that today.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure either. So I thought it was a pretty standard day at the office for Nebraska fans, with the exception of the energy, but that's to be expected. Nebraska was going to, unless something crazy happened, which it looked like it might for a moment, Nebraska was going to win today by a lot, and people were going to clear out at about halftime, and you're going to kind of go from there. Text line asks, sellout streak still alive after the performance this week? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to do the red carpet experience. So any problems that they have with the few thousand or whatever, they'll pick that up. But yeah, I think you're still going to get a sellout for next week.
We're 2:30 next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that does anything.
Probably helps more than
bit.
11 a.m.
Yeah, the 11 a.m.s hurt, especially in the student section. By the way, shout out to the student section.
Looks pretty good today.
They went almost toward the top today, I think. Spencer says this: just tuned in. I didn't see anything that makes me believe Nebraska can win 4 games. Nebraska can win 4 games. Martinez is doing the same thing. They got him benched last year. O-line and D-line are not good enough to compete in the Big Ten. Okay, hold on. Like the guy or not, Adrian was pretty solid today.
Yeah.
He was pretty efficient. He bailed Nebraska out a couple times, 17 of 23, 254 and a touchdown, also 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Like, I didn't have too many criticisms of Adrian today other than he held the ball, which is always criticism of Adrian. But today they weren't able to get home because Fordham wasn't really good enough. Like, how does that translate to playing Michigan State? Probably poorly.
But also he probably is thinking that himself, right? Like he knows he's got more time today to sit back, so he might want to sit back a little longer,
right,
and let Toure or whoever get open eventually.
I didn't have too much criticism of Adrian today. If you want to talk about the offensive line, I'm all here for it. I don't know what can be done. It is not good right now. It's just not very good right now. To your point, Bach, it's an important one. It has been a trend for this group over the last 3 seasons in the Scott Frost era to pretty much steadily get better as the season goes along. Now they've had pros in each of their first 3 seasons on the offensive line, which, well, maybe not 18. I'll have to go back and think about that one a little bit more. Well, I guess Farniak was probably on that line. So a younger Farniak anyway. So that's something to note here, and we'll see what happens with these guys. But they're young. There's freshmen and sophomores there. It just hasn't quite gelled, glued. Definitely the left side is rough at the moment, for sure. And I don't know. Do you go with a personnel change and see if that works, or does it need to be helped by what happens with the rest of the offense?
Well, and I think today, again, if you came into the game thinking that Nebraska was going to win 4 games, it would be hard for you to get so overwhelmingly impressed to think that they would win 6 or 7 by the end of the game. I mean, I think they did what they needed to do today.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can build their own confidence moving forward. But is this a team that all of a sudden I think is heading for the Independence Bowl? No, I think they're probably still going to be fighting for that 6th win. But
yeah, I'm not trying to convince you guys that you should be like over the moon about this.
Yeah.
It's just, it was a win. They took care of business.
Yeah, but the line play is going to be scary. I mean, that's where games are won in football in general, but especially in the Big Ten. It's a line dominant conference. In Nebraska, whether on offense or defense, they didn't get a whole lot of quarterback hurries. They had the 1 sack by Quentin Newsome. After that early of the game against Illinois, it looked like this might be a pass rushing team. And I don't necessarily think the pass rush was the greatest today, but you did get some interceptions out of the pass rush, so that's also part of the goal. I'll take interceptions over sacks, but yeah, I mean, you could have seen some better play here and there. But either, I mean, again, what are your expectations coming into this game? That they dominate at every facet? That's a want. But after watching this team in week 0, I didn't think that they were necessarily going to dominate in every fashion of the game.
Yeah. 402-464-5685. Here's another one. Did today change any feelings about the Oklahoma game? We touched on it briefly. I mean, maybe that Oklahoma is slightly vulnerable.
I think Oklahoma changed a little bit about the Oklahoma game. This game, probably not.
Yeah, not Nebraska Fordham.
Yeah.
I'll say this: like these things could both be true at the same time. It's really nice to see Nebraska play well.
Yeah,
and it could just be that they could come out and look crappy against Buffalo on Saturday, and then we're back to square one like we were against Illinois. But it's nice, and it feels good, and hopefully you can capitalize off of a little bit of that momentum while still going back to the drawing board this week and having stuff to work on, because there were those moments in this game that you're never going to play perfect. And, also taking a look around and saying, Nebraska is not the only team that struggles in college football. There are, in fact, other games, and other teams look bad occasionally as well. Wisconsin's offense is poopy. Rough. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Graham Mertz,
Yeah.
That's a question to ask at this point.
Oregon is tied now at 21 with Fresno State. They're supposed to win, so Ohio State next week will be big. It might not be as big as they coming off a loss to Fresno.
Ohio State looked kind of shaky at times. On Thursday.
Until CJ Stroud figured it out, and then, man,
they looked better.
They turned it on.
Oklahoma, wins by 5 in a shootout over Tulane today, in their home stadium. It's not. It doesn't have to just.
I'm
be
so
the
glad
world's
games aren't just played on paper, because when we go out there and actually line them up, it's unpredictable. That's what makes college football so fun.
Yeah. Today has not been the change for me. It's like, oh, well, Nebraska's going to go down to Oklahoma and win the game now, or I feel really good about that. No, I don't think my feelings have changed a whole lot. As I said, they wouldn't going into the week. I don't think 52-7 win against Fordham, where you take care of business, is going to earn all your trust back from the fan base, and it shouldn't. I mean, they're still in a hole here. You shouldn't have lost that. You shouldn't have played like that. You shouldn't have lost that way to Illinois like you did in the first week. But you get 12 tests, and sometimes you can look at them in a vacuum, and your record is what your record is. So they'll play Buffalo next week with the expectation that they come out of that game 2-1, and then whatever Oklahoma is what Oklahoma is. And then you start this real important stretch where it's Michigan State, Northwestern, winnable games, and Michigan comes to town, and Minnesota. That's 4 weeks in a row where it's like, I don't know. I don't really have any idea. And that'll ultimately tell the story of the season. So we're not at that point yet.
Yeah.
But we're on the road there.
And I think there was an idea coming into this game that you couldn't learn anything. I think we learned, to me at least, that Marquise Stepp is a viable option, if not the start over Gabe Ervin next week.
Good point.
And we'll see how that happens. I think you feel good about Samori Toure, not just as a receiver, but maybe in some of those running plays where you can get him going on the outside. So you're kind of learning these new weapons as you have them. And a lot of times too, I mean, you think about, this is one that Steve Sibb will appreciate. Go back to Maurice Purify. He didn't come out game 1 and start dominating. Sometimes it takes the new guys, a little bit to get embedded in the offense. And so today was another step for that for some of those guys, the Marquise Stepps, the Omar Mannings, the Samori Toures, the new guys involved. And back-to-back passes set up to Austin Allen. They know that they have a 6'9" tight end that's pretty good, and they used him today.
Maybe I guess if I could pull it into a succinct kind of sentence, last week, early in the week felt kind of hopeless.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just a bad way to start the season. Bad omens all over the place. They didn't look very good. They don't look like they were improved from last year, and they lost a game to a Big Ten West opponent. And now you look around a little bit. All these other teams have to, they got to show what they're made up to. Nebraska was the only one last week. Nebraska and Illinois, basically. They were the only one who had the test in front of everybody. Everybody else had the test in front of everybody today. And it's like, well, okay, not everything's perfect yet. We're not there. It's week 1. So maybe it's not confidence. It's just a glimmer of hope. Fordham game, 2021.
A
glimmer of hope.
I like it.
That's what they'll make in the movie when they make the movie about this game.
I'm not sure if there'll ever be any movie.
Well, come on, Bach. A 30 tackle game.
That's true. They should make one movie today for what's his name? Ryan Greenhagen.
Ryan Greenhagen.
30 tackles.
30
Did you say
tackles.
that's the most since when?
2014.
Oh my goodness.
We
We saw history today.
The most in any college game since 2014.
Nebraska's leading tackler, by the way, had 5. He had 30, and Nebraska's leading tackler had 5 tackles.
There was a hot dog that apparently sailed out of the stadium from the Das Wiener Schlinger.
No way.
That's what I heard.
I got to see video evidence on that one.
Sources were indicating that was the case, or at the very least got to the top of West Stadium.
Wow.
Which that's way up.
That's
there.
really impressive. They must have oiled. I don't know what they do to fire that thing up. Oil or
no? It's like
spring loaded.
It's like a hydrogen tank.
Oh, that's right. It is,
dude. Yeah, it's super explosive. Like if he turned around, I forget the guy's name. If he turned around and like shot somebody with it, it'd be a bad deal.
Oh, man,
it's a weapon. So they have to wrap the hot dogs up so
really
tight, so tight. We can't remember how many times over the years where I've seen like a stray bun flying in the air, like a stray hot dog, and then like a piece of foil. So it's like, all right, you got to wrap these things a little bit tighter.
I almost caught one of those today. I mean, if I would have tried, I might have even caught it, but I'm too cool to try to catch a hot dog.
Got back in the stadium though. It was good to be out there, and the fans were there. Although it wasn't a super duper engaged crowd, but that's okay. Sights and sounds of game day are back, and that was
beautiful.
A big part of, I think, what today was about. All right, that'll do it for the after party. Once again, brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. But don't go away. We're going to hand it over to DP, who is out at Tanner's, South 27th. Go check them out. Watch the afternoon and nighttime college football games. Bach, quickly, Iowa, Indiana update.
14-3, Golden Black.
Iowa. Big Ten West.
Let's go Big Ten West. We need one win this weekend.
We're going to hand it over to DP out at Tanner's. Once again, Nebraska wins today and improves to 1-1, 52-7 over Fordham. We'll discuss it all on Monday. Talk to you guys then.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us